Hi, welcome to Weight Loss Exposure. I'm David Shah. Today's video is all about managing and minimizing setbacks surrounding food and eating when one is put in a situation where there's less than ideal food available, where their food selection is limited, and they might feel that the only solution is to just go ahead and eat whatever's available and write it off as a one-off, and then go back to their good intentions the next day, their good eating plan, their program that they're on, and just pick it back up. I think it's a very timely video, with it being Christmas next week, New Year the week after that. But I can expand that over the course of day-to-day life, across the week, over the year, whatever it might be, where there are many instances in life that people are faced with a situation that's less than ideal, where typically they might just have that mindset that I spoke about of saying, oh, it's just one meal and I can pick it back up the next day and go on with things from there. It's never just one meal to me. So for example, talking about Christmas and New Year, but it could be weddings, other celebrations, birthdays, meetings. A lot of people that I work with are businessmen and women, so they have a lot of business meetings, typically surrounding restaurants and food. So breakfast meetings, lunch meetings, dinner meetings. So again, the variety and the selection of food is not always in their control in terms of what's on offer. I've written and spoken about foods on aeroplanes before, and how what they serve is, largely speaking, junk. So any form of long distance travel where the availability and your ability to eat whatever you want is limited to a certain degree, then there are other things, unexpected, unforeseen situations that will and do arise, where people might find themselves taking what I consider to be the easier option of saying, you know what, I'll just eat whatever and then I'll move on from here the next time I'm at home, or whatever it might be, to try and pick things back up. To me, as I said earlier, it's much bigger than just a one-off little blip. If I clearly saw it that way, then I wouldn't be making this video right now. The problem is, in my eyes, health and well-being is on a scale from low health, vitality and well-being to one of surplus energy, vitality and a well-being that is completely optimal. For the most part, the people that I'm seeing, maybe even you at home, are at the lower end of that scale, simply because you have challenges with your health and well-being and are experiencing weight management problems to the degree that you wish to lose a significant amount of weight. That's the reality of the situation. That's why Weight Loss Exposure is here, and that has been my experience for the best part of 11 years in this industry, that the most common view, the most common goal that people have is one of weight loss. And ill health, obesity and everything that comes with that is nothing more than the body's stress response to chronic stressors in one's life. And poor food selection, mismanagement of food, is simply one of those areas. So my point is, for the majority of people that are in that position of low health and vitality and well-being, that are looking to essentially overcome that to experience transformation, it will do them very little other than keep them exactly where they are if they are to have these little blips in their eating and think that they're only one-off, that they're not impacting on the bigger picture. The only way to elevate and progress along that scale of health and vitality is to commit to the long term, to provide the body with an example of a new norm. Because at the moment, what's normal for people in that situation is to mismanage their lifestyle, their diet in this case, to the point that the body becomes overburdened and overstressed, and then exhibits the signs and symptoms that I've talked about, so ill health and obesity and whatever else comes with that. That is the norm. It's not what it should be, but that is the norm, and that's the norm for the majority of the population, unfortunately. So to establish a new norm, there needs to be a highly focused level of consistency there. Otherwise, essentially what happens is it's like pushing the reset button. So you might get to a certain degree of regularity, and one meal can throw that all out, physiologically and biologically and biochemically. All these things that might not even be apparent to most people are obstacles to your success. And that's just a physiological response. I can then look at the psychological side of this. And again, with most people coming to see me being at the lower end of health and vitality, those same people, because they usually have tried many different approaches before, gone around in circles, and not really gotten the results they're looking for, perhaps even for their whole adult life. Because they've experienced that, they feel disempowered. They come to me feeling not great about themselves, having low self-esteem, low belief in their ability to manage their weight, health and well-being. So whether this is subconscious or not, by submitting to the situation that you might find yourself in. So a birthday party, for example, where you're going out for a meal and you'll just eat whatever you like because it's easier than being a little bit mindful to sticking to some good intent or good intentions. When you're doing that, psychologically, subconsciously, maybe, you're admitting to yourself that you still don't have the control and the power to make the changes that you're saying that you want to make. And that's very disempowering. And to me, the biggest experience and lesson to learn with lifestyle management and improved health, vitality and weight loss is that the control firmly lies with the individual I'm working with. It has to. But unless they're doing the things that reaffirm that and give them that sense, then it becomes a situation that is just on repeat, as they may have experienced in their adult life to date. They'll start a little bit, get somewhere, and then they'll fall off track. They'll feel bad about it, and they'll feel like there's no hope. So they just exacerbate that way of feeling and that state of being. And clearly, to move beyond that is what's necessary to get the results that people say that they're looking for. And in reality, it's not hard to do certain things, implement certain things, think a certain way to manage these situations where the setback is minimal. Some of the common things that you can do to remain empowered, to remain in control of the situation to a large degree if you find yourself in any one of these situations, which most people will at any given point in time, because that's life. Life isn't linear. I'm about working with people on an individual level, dealing with their individual lifestyle and really working to manage that in a way that brings about the results that people are looking for, but most importantly, that are sustainable. So for me to ignore these situations, these less than ideal situations that will crop up, and to write them off as not being a problem, or to even say that they don't exist, is not doing my clients any favours, and it's surely not fulfilling my professional responsibilities. So to manage that situation is quite easy, really. Number one, first and foremost, in any one of those given situations, just eat real food. Whatever that is in the context of where you are, just apply it. So food that is minimally processed, that is unrefined, that is not pre-packaged or ready-made to any degree. Stick to the realist, purest food that's on offer. I clearly talk about organic food a lot and how I believe organic food is a must for people. But again, being in these situations, the chances are that you're not going to have access to organic food. Don't let that be the be-all and end-all of the situation. Pick the freshest food available. Think about how you can also combine what's on your plate to have a well-balanced nutritional meal, so it's not carbohydrate heavy, which is what a lot of people do. They kind of just say, okay, I'm going to eat whatever, and they pile their plate full of simple carbohydrates, refined carbs, and then feel like rubbish afterwards. Balance your meals still. It doesn't mean just because you don't have access to the best food available that you can't try and balance a meal nutritionally towards your metabolic type, which if you've read my book, you'll understand all about. Other things, eating desserts. Don't go for the sweetest, the most sugar-laden option there is. Go for the least sugar option. Sometimes there's even fruit on the menu. Go for that. Now, if there isn't anything other than one dessert, if you're at a birthday party and there's cake, you don't have to have a huge slice of cake. Have a little bit. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing approach. Speaking of food, still looking at added and hidden ingredients in sauces and marinades. So be careful. Be mindful of options that involve those types of food. Maybe steer clear of those. Drinking alcohol. So holiday season. If you're going to drink, okay, I understand it's a holiday season, you want to be a part of that, you want to celebrate that, that's fine. But for every glass of alcohol you have the same volume of water. Try and balance out what you're doing or what you're subjected to with as much of the good that you can. And if, in the worst case scenario, if you find yourself in a situation where none of those things are viable, literally none of those things are possible, then just eat a small amount of what's on offer. You don't have to eat your full volume, your normal amount of food, and then feel like garbage afterwards and have a knock-on effect of the type that I've already mentioned. Eat a small amount of whatever's there, or if you know that you're going to go to a place already in advance and there's going to be limited scope for the things that I've spoken about already, then eat your meal beforehand. Eat your good nutritious meal beforehand so that when you go there, you can just graze on whatever's available. See, the thing is, I don't want people to feel alienated in the environment that they might find themselves in. That does them no good, and it usually leaves them wanting to give up altogether. I can understand that. So it's never about being unrealistic. It's about managing the situation you're in to not let it become disastrous. But then, when that isolated incident has passed, you can then step back into what you know you should be doing with positivity and control in the situation, rather than giving all that up, which is in reality what a lot of people end up doing by saying to themselves it's just one meal. That one meal becomes so frequent that they're pushing the reset button on their work consistently and constantly to a point that they never move along that scale of health and vitality to a point where weight loss begins to occur to any real degree, to any sustainable degree, let alone improved health and managing of illnesses, etc., etc. So that is really the message that I wanted to make in this video. While it might look like the easier option and just simply a one-off thing to do, to just go ahead and eat whatever's available in times where, selection of food is limited and restricted, it's doing you a disservice to your long-term goal. And to manage this situation, to be able to do the things that I've said in terms of the strategies to implement to make a less than ideal situation more in your control, is one of the key skills to master when it comes to weight loss and improved health and vitality. It really is. If you can begin to do that, not only will you obviously over time stay on track towards the weight loss goals that you have, but you'll feel good about yourself doing it. It's not meant to be punishment, this. It's meant to be something that is a realization within you that it's not difficult to do if you approach it with the right mindset and the view of long-term sustainability with profound results that follow. As always, the article to this video is in the info box below. I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is the last video from me until 2014. Thanks for watching.